Hello, and welcome back to the Out There Pod, where we delve into the depths of the mystifying, the hidden, and the utterly unexplainable. I'm Rachel, and today, rather than being joined by a co host, I am going to be doing a solo podcast on another government project that I find incredibly fascinating: Operation Often. Over the next few weeks, you will hear some new voices on the podcast, and we're going to be covering topics on a much deeper level. Today, I am talking about Operation Often because this is a topic that has come up in my research for several years now. If you listened to our last episode on Project Stargate, you'll notice some major parallels. The implications of Operation Often are so interesting to me because it lays bare just how different the narrative is that we typically hear compared to the reality within the military-industrial complex. The CIA's website hosts an array of documents on various covert operations, but Operation Often, or MKOften, is only found in a handful. Three, in fact. Two documents relating to the Church Committee hearings and one curious Freedom of Information Act case log regarding allegations that M.K.Often conducted experiments involving the occult. Yes, you heard that right. Our government supposedly delved into the world of witchcraft and the occult. But from what I can see, they're not talking about it. I won't link the page here, but you can find the three documents by navigating to the CIA online reading room and searching for MKOften. Now, I have spent countless hours jumping into random pages of the thousands of documents on Project Stargate, and some of them are pretty wild. So I was really looking forward to documents titled Schedule of Witchcraft and Occult Research Activities. What I found was, basically, nothing. That's the result of another CIA operation, Dormouse. Dormouse was a CIA operation in the late 1970s to destroy CIA documents from the early 1970s. Specifically, they destroyed documents relating to MK projects like MKUltra and MKOften, where LSD was used on human subjects. When the Church Committee hearings started to heat up, the CIA knew that they could let out information about ethically horrible projects from the 50s and even the early 60s. But the guys in charge in the late 70s were the same guys who were responsible for human experimentation in the early 70s. Who am I kidding? There is no reason to think that the CIA ever stopped experimenting with LSD and other drugs on US civilians. So they destroyed most of the documentation that would tell us the results and methods used in MKOften. Essentially, Operation Often was a response to the fear of Soviet advancements during the Cold War, similar to the motivations behind Project Stargate, which focused on extrasensory perception, or ESP. In Operation Often, the CIA was officially focused on mind control, like MKUltra. Unofficially, it is believed that MKOften was a project that sought to bridge the gap between paranormal abilities and mind control drugs such as LSD. Where MKUltra primarily stuck to the use of drugs like LSD, MKOften paired those effects with the abilities of psychics, mediums, and even astrologers, using drugs to enhance the abilities of those individuals already experienced in the paranormal for military use. During the Cold War, American intelligence agencies were increasingly paranoid about Soviet capabilities. Operation Often was initiated to explore the use of occult practices and paranormal phenomena for intelligence and warfare purposes. I do have to admit, there isn't a lot of official information connecting the Project MKOften to paranormal abilities. A lot of it is speculation based on the timing of events and the way that the CIA and other intelligence and military organizations pass around projects to evade responsibility. But whether they called it Operation Often or something else, the government was definitely looking into supernatural abilities beyond just remote viewing. There are several documents that can be found on the CIA website that appear to be regular reports on a perceived parapsychological threat to ComSec, in other words, a threat to the nation in the form of information gathering. The Soviets and the Chinese were reportedly looking into psychics, telekinesis, and other abilities to gather information on the United States and threaten our own information-gathering capabilities. Some people in the United States and Europe were worried that certain telepathic abilities could be used to spy on communications, and that certain telekinetic abilities could be used to shut down communications. I had to read that one twice. Telekinetic. Individuals in laboratory scenarios were able to change electrical and magnetic fields and alter the states of objects. There are a couple ways of reading that. The state of an object might be its condition, like whether a glass is upright versus tipped over. Or, considering the scientific nature of the testing, they could be referring to changing something's actual state of matter, making the water in a glass turn to ice at room temperature. Could there be individuals in our world who are able to control the speed of atoms within an object? Imagine the implications of that. Imagine the damage that could be done. If the government's work in occult research, telekinesis, and mystics ended with M.K.Often, all signs point to it not being as successful as Project Stargate. But the only information that we can really find on M.K.Often are documents from church committee hearings transcripts that show senators asking intelligence community leaders why they can't get information on M.K.Often. All traces of this operation were scrubbed to allow only the least damaging information to come to the surface. Which only begs the question, what could the government be doing that is worse than using LSD on unwitting United States citizens for the purposes of mind control? As we continue to sift through the evidence and unravel the tangled web of speculation and intrigue, one thing remains certain: the truth is out there, waiting to be discovered. If you have any thoughts or experiences related to the occult, remote viewing, telekinesis, or conspiracy theories you'd like to share, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay curious and don't believe everything you see. Goodbye for now.